episode 104, Publishing Day. I'm J.V. Hilliard, and welcome to the Realm. It's Publishing Day, and I'm lucky enough to have one of my friends and also my development editor, Dane Cobain, on the line with me today to talk about his works. Dane is also a fellow author. He focuses on a few different types of genres like horror and suspense and crime, and has also dabbled in things like music and poetry. Very talented man. I'm glad to have him on my team. And Dane, welcome to the Realm.
Thanks for having me, Joe, and big congratulations on Publication Day. You must be super excited to finally have a copy of the book in your hands.
I am. Yeah, as an author, I think it's the most important day that you could have. It's almost like giving birth. You feel like that story and that idea that's been running around in your head is finally on paper and you want to share it with somebody. But as someone who's done this a lot more than I have, what are some of the things that you experienced, and what should I expect on my my launch of The Last Keeper?
It's funny that you said it's a bit like giving birth, because I would agree, but I would say the first draft is like giving birth, and then the editing is like seeing your kid go off to school. And then when you finally get the published version, that's like when they come back from college as an adult and you're like, oh, they're a fully grown human being now. And then you'll be able to look forward to seeing people's responses to it. I think what's interesting is every different reader tends to pick up something different from the story. So, some of them are going to say they love the world building. Some of them are going to relate to the characters. Some of them are going to love the battle scenes. And, that's kind of the fun part, seeing what different people pick up on as their favorite parts of the story.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because much of The Last Keeper involves a variety of those things. And as someone who has not written a fantasy adventure novel before, what were some of those differences that you found in the styles in which you're used to writing versus the styles in which that as a fantasy or a world building author I need to do?
Sure. There's a lot in common, and there are a lot of differences as well. I think the things in common are, we're still focusing very much on the characters. We have to have a good plot. So the elements of storytelling are still very much the same. I think the differences with fantasy, as you mentioned, is the world building, creating this setting and making this world come to life. We want to make sure that as people are reading it, they feel as though they themselves are traveling through our Warminster, while still telling a good story at its heart as well. So fantasy authors have their work cut out for them, but you did it really well.
Thank you for that, Dane. I appreciate that. And I did that with your help, and someone who does deal and read in fantasy as much as I do, understanding that there might be things in my head that I understand implicitly that someone that's reading it for the first time might not. And I think your direction in helping me understand some of those gaps have been incredibly helpful to me. But as an author too, you've had a number of launch days. Tell me one of your favorite stories of something that's happened on launch day that made something memorable for you.
So I think my most memorable launch day was actually the launch day for my first book, No Rest for the Wicked. It was my 26th birthday, and I did a launch party at the Arts Centre, which is just round the corner from me here. And we were playing the Exorcist theme through the speakers and all of this stuff. And it was just really interesting to see people come along to sort of support me for that first book launch, and to have a spooky time while we did it as well.
I'm glad to hear that, because my wife and a number of our friends have decided to rent a theater, and we're going to do a showing of Lord of the Rings. I'm going to be able to hand out some books and have a bunch of friends out there just hopefully sitting there watching a very fun movie and drinking. So I plan on having a very similar experience here. Thanks again, Dane. I appreciate you being here. And for those of you that are wondering, The Last Keeper could be found in your local bookstores, and it also can be purchased on Amazon.com. I'm J.V. Hilliard. Thanks for visiting the Realm, and may your gods go with you.